Weeping, spent. In general, filmmaking is all about saying, let's crank it up. And I'm constantly thinking, we don't need to ramp up this. Don't name it Captain Phillips or the Maersk Alabama. Call it something else. And you're free to do anything you want, even sea serpents and aliens. Tweeting is the equivalent of sending fancy telegrams to your buddies once a week. I am who I am, and I believe I have a generally kind personality. So we have the option of approaching our fellow humans with distrust, or with an open mind, a dash of hope, and a great lot of candor. I assure you that if I were to direct Ron Howard, I would put him through hell every day. I don't parade my family around for attention, and that is how it will remain. I had never worked with males until Saving Private Ryan. One remarkable aspect of World War II was that everyone joined up for the duration plus 6 months. All Quiet on the Western Front is my favorite traditional Christmas film to see. I'd expect a lot from him. My wife often tells me that my biggest flaw is that I keep things to myself and act comfortable. A hero is someone who willingly enters the unknown. We must not give up, but that's okay. In fact, it's a positive thing. Human beings act for a purpose, even if it is occasionally the incorrect one. Everyone would do it if it wasn't so difficult. When people see me, they freeze. I believe that feeling well is preferable than looking nice. I believe that around 1/3 of individuals are villains, 1/3 are cowards, and 1/3 are heroes. You're constantly walking on a tightrope between the World War II thing and the astronaut stuff. I've gone through a lot of studies of what a hero is. When it comes to romantic comedies, the audience is seeking for desire fulfillment. They are filled with righteous pride. Making a movie means conveying a narrative using the greatest technologies available. Acting still excites me as it did in high school. Personally, I believe I shall ensure that I have a nice time. How about that? Even if a narrative has nothing to do with my life, if I see myself in a character and think, oh yes, that's what I do, that's exactly what I'm looking for. It's the difficulty that makes it wonderful. And I'm not apolitical. My politics are quite precise. When I was growing up, everyone in authority, including my parents and instructors, had all survived the war, and they spoke about it as if it were the Kraken. You know, that big beast that roamed the world during their formative years. I'm not seeking for a certain kind of narrative. Repertory theater is all about being a part of the total, a color in this enormous palette. For a time, I can grasp the notion of becoming a monk. Even when you are lonely, the movie might help you feel less lonely. If we wanted to, we could crush these new generations. And then it was like, wait, you can study theater in college, and do you perform in plays? You know, this is nearly a shambles. Yeah, I have type 2 diabetes. I'm sure there'll be some kind of media controversy soon, claiming that I acquired it because I gained and lost weight for movie roles or whatever, but I doubt it. I had to decline Fantasy Island while I was working on Bosom Buddies. The essence of movies has changed from 5 years ago, and they are all driven by the potential of CGI, which means you can create anything appear on screen that you might possibly wish. If 9 men audition, and they're all handsome, I have an edge since attractive males are plentiful, as long as you, as a person, can persuade yourself that in order to go ahead as best you can, you may be classified as one of the devout, one of those individuals who can say, well, look, something's going to happen. Let us just keep trying. In Los Angeles, there came a point when I worried whether I was going to lose everything. You can't stare up at the night sky and not wonder what it's like to be up there among the stars. Actors with political opinions are plenty. Growing up in Northern California shaped my love of and respect for the outdoors. A villain and a coward may now choose to be heroes, but they must do so. But if they need someone else, like a silly man with awful hair who is just acceptable, that's who I'm going to be. That's simply the way things are. I recognize the notion of optimism. I performed a Love Boat routine. Finally, the other 2% of those that audition are geniuses I could never compete with. There are an unlimited number of methods to investigate it. And when I was there, I was introduced to a world I had no idea existed. As an actor, I'm constantly waiting for my good fortune to run out. I wait for it to come across my desk. And when I gaze up at the moon, I perceive it as the most lovely location in the universe. And I believe that 20% of the population is a thief or a liar. There's nothing particularly mysterious about me. I had 2 children, one of whom was a newborn, and I was unsure if I would be able to maintain my home. It was always about falling in love, and it simply got twisted around. I don't want to acknowledge to the world that I am capable of being a nasty person. There is a distinction to be made between isolation and loneliness. My TV program had been canceled. Nothing else had happened. Some connections I had formed had fizzled, and nothing had come of it. And I was staring at a long, long year ahead of me with no job on the horizon and the phone not ringing. When I lived in Oakland, we had no problem going to Half Moon Bay and Santa Cruz one day, and then to the Sierra Foothills the next. I love what I do for a livelihood. It's the best job in the world, but you have to put up with a lot of attention that you don't necessarily deserve, and you have to live up to your professional obligations. And I'm always trying to balance that with what is genuinely essential. Flyers were allowed to leave battle after 25 or 35 missions, but you were still in it. What I do is glamorous, and it attracts a great deal of attention, but I'm totally in my own thoughts and can't hear anything anybody says. I don't want to dread coming to work, regardless of the job. However, the real labor demands the same discipline and enthusiasm as any other profession you like, whether you are a skilled pipe fitter or a highly creative artist. Reading a screenplay is typically as fascinating as reading a boilerplate legal document, but when one makes you feel as if you're watching the movie, you know it's something special. The truth is that I'll never know all there is to know about you, just as you will never know everything there is to know about me. When the chance to do it professionally arose, I believe I'd won the lotto. But if I eat well, exercise, lose weight, and monitor what I consume, I'll be oak for the rest of my life. But if someone takes advantage of my good nature, well, I'm not that nice.